Yeah, everybody. Woo! We're in the house today, Saturday.
Woo!
Got a hurricane going on out here. This is Philip from Epic Surf News, bringing you another board meeting here with none other than Stephan Back from the Suede Denim Secret Elite drummer. You. Yeah, Stephan. How's it going,
Hey,
man?
what's going on, people? You.
Yo, you guys have the sickest surf band in Oside. What's poppin'? What's your next gig?
September 16th, we're playing in Encinitas with the dad band at the American Legion. So come out and support your overage, underachieving local surfers from Southern California.
Yeah, and you got, I mean, basically it's almost like an all harbor surf band, basically.
Yeah, we let one guy in who only surfs San Diego because I'm originally from there, but we gave him a hall pass, but everybody else is from Oceanside.
All right, well, where's he like to surf at then? We might as well blow up his surf spot.
Yeah, we should blow it up. He grew up, I think, in surfing mostly Coronado, and he would do the Ralphs and take a little boat out there and like a little dinghy.
Okay.
But I think probably if you live down there, his dad probably had a big old yacht, you know. He's probably one of those cats.
Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing you guys play. You guys do a lot of punk songs, which is gets you fired up, dude.
Yeah, we're just we're just that overaging, old school, covering the Dead Kennedys, Sex Pistols, all the fun stuff that gets you up and out of your seat. So come shake your booty if you're especially if you need to get some cobwebs off of it.
Yeah, so and those guys you guys are on Instagram as well, everybody, so you can find them on there, of course. I guess the first thing we got to talk about is what just took place here in Southern California, which was the WSL finals. That took place at Lower Trestles, of course, everybody knows. I didn't show up on the beach, but basically, if you don't know, all the finals out there are happening on one day. Everybody kind of earns points all year long, getting 5 slots, men and women. And from there, the only thing that changes is the seeding. So the top seed surfer from the year's points gets to basically wait till everybody else battles it out. And then you got to go heads with that person, which this year was Filipe Toledo and Mora was for the women. So what happened? Stephan went down. I didn't even go, everybody. I went last year. I've been there, I don't know, a bunch of years over the years, but last year was really, really hot. The waves were really, really firing. And so I did it. I handled the whole thing. The e-bike, plague was upon us. So this year I decided to, just kind of sit back and watch it on the webcast. Stephan, what happened down there?
Oh, it was one big hot, fun mess is what happened down there. I don't know if I agree with the format of surfing all year long, going, 10 spots all around the world and then having it decided in one day.
Okay.
Heaven forbid you have an off day, you got a hangover, or who knows what's going on. But nonetheless, it was kind of like American Gladiators. I thought the top 5 were going to come out like dressed up in like, with little helmets on and like
Right.
swinging batons and stuff. And like, it was crazy how there were different camps, and all the camps, everybody had t-shirt. It was very well organized. Everybody had t-shirts and hats and little signs like Brisa, and like, it was just a wild, wild part. And of course the Brazilians went freaking nuts. The Brazilians had their little camp, and then they had those big horns. They're like,
Yeah.
they're like, and you can smell the ganja from the Brazilian camp. Like, it was wafting through the air. Like, they had the best ganja. And I have a theory right now why all the Brazilians are doing so good, because they're smoking the best weed. I was getting high, and I was like 50 feet from the camp, and Filipe Toledo's dad was like toking it down. Italo's parents were there. Like, everybody was partying, going crazy. All the thong bikinis were like flapping in the wind, dude. It was a party like none other.
Yeah, I saw they had the 77 for Filipe Toledo.
Oh, you don't dare say anything bad about 77, because we were in the crew and we were rooting for Stephanie instead of Tati, and
Oh yeah.
man, there was about some shit ready to go down because of that. Those Brazilians are crazy but wild.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would say, I mean, for a very long time, they have had a really strong crowd at a lot of events, but definitely at the Lowers event, with some of these guys moving down there. I was actually rooting for Italo I was rooting for Filipe and myself, but I, in terms of the elimination rounds, I was rooting for Italo during those. And so he did really well. That was awesome. And you brought up something right now about, how the competitors come out and how the crowd reacts. So I noticed this year, usually like one pro can sneak out. He could be over there hiding behind a bush, and then as heat comes up, he could sneak out, run into the water. One person might come out of the main one. This year, they made them come together on the stage, kind of like an MMA or boxing match.
Yeah, did you hear Chris Cote? I'll tell you, that dude's a talent. But Chris Cote announcing, it was like Don King in the ring with Muhammad Ali and Frazier. And it was like I was getting goosebumps, and it was like Don King with the wild hair, but Chris Cote's bald, right? So he didn't have that going on. But you sure to heard his voice and the way he like amped up the crowd. Okay. And it was like, and in this corner we got, and that's why I thought they were going to come out dressed as gladiators. But one of the, I want to do some positive negatives of the concert. I mean, of the event. But one of the negatives is that they had them down at the end, and so normally they would come out of they'd come running down, and we would all like, it was just nerd fans. We'd be there taking pictures and like, woo, woo, woo. And they'd go running by, and everybody would look. Well, they were so far down that like I didn't even see hardly any of the pros until they were in the water. So they kind of kept them isolated. I don't know if it's like a COVID thing or whatever, but they were like, we were so packed in. I feel like they built the stage this year so close to the water. Like
I saw that.
They were trying to drive the little Jeeps, and everybody had to like hunch together and make sure their toes didn't get run over by the little Jeeps. It was like there was no space. So that was a big bummer. And normally I get to like take pictures with the, the guys and all that. And I didn't get to take pictures with a single one of them this year.
Well, so that was kind of a bummer. That's, I always knew this day was coming, because I mean, that whole interacting with the competitors, especially before the heat, but, after the heat, I mean, that was always, a really, unique situation for sports fans to be able to do that. And I knew at some point, especially with people, high profile people like Bethany Hamilton or Kelly Slater.
I saw her, but I only saw her up in the stadium. I threw a little shotgun. She gave me it was nice to see her. But yeah, I didn't even get to like, hey, good to see you. Everybody was like off, and and we were just the little minions off, and, like packed like sardines on the beach, making sure our toes didn't get run over.
Yeah, for the kind of like basketball, like any major sport now, but you can see the kind of leading up to that kind of format, because in the past years, some of these high profile surfers would have their own security, right? Or they'd beef up, and they'd kind of like surround them as they run in and out of the water. And so I figured those days are probably numbered, and I'm glad you got to experience that for me. But I saw the stage. It was like also not like you said, probably down the beach, but also they built it. It was hanging off, like there was a gap between that and the rock. So like when the competitors had to run out and turn towards the water, they actually had to kind of like jump onto the rock. So it was kind of weird setup.
Yeah, everything was kind of weird. I went there without any food in my belly or beer in my belly. And when I got there was no food being served except for those little Sambazon, like it's like almost like now it's like a little shot of like ice cream in a bowl.
Okay.
Right. They call them the acai bowls. And that was the only food. There was no drink. It was kind of like, we need to like turn this back into a party and bring some drinks in there and some fish tacos. Let's like make it like it is.
What was funny or sad, I guess, is that, for years it was getting bigger and better, like managed for all these different aspects. And then what happened maybe about the year right before COVID, that one was really amazing. Cause like you said, for the first time, like they used to have just food for the competitors way back. So you could just smell burgers and be like a hungry fan. Just, I would always come prepared with my igloo, and I'd bring all the rations necessary, but I'd see a bunch of other people, I'd have shade and all that. Other people would get, just hit by the sun,
Oh, dude,
dehydrated.
I'm
Woo, woo.
freaking burning, baked, red
Whoa.
face, white guy.
Wow. So yeah, they had it all going. Like you said, there was fish tacos, there was burger, they had everything that you could want that one last year before COVID or whatever. And then now they're seems like they're kind of starting over again. And like you said, smashing everybody in closer together, which is not always comfortable. So did you get to hear Kelly Slater and Mick Fanning commentate from the beach? Because on the webcast, we got to hear them talk over the finals, the women's finals, at least.
I heard the tail end. I had hit a point where I was so baked and kind of over it. I left right at kind of like I saw halfway through the finals.
Right.
And I was just kind of over it at that point, but I did hear it, and I saw Mick Fanning up in the stands, which is cool.
Okay.
But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, because sometimes it's a different show online, and yeah, it's super hard to be down there all day. Especially you saw those intro heats, and then all of a sudden they go best 2 out of 3, and you're like, I'm out of here, right? Yeah, trippy. So e-bikes, dude. It's so funny. It didn't look as bad this year from the webcast, anyways. But in past year, last year was like a poop show. I mean, it was a full-on shit show down there with the e-bikes, and I felt like the e-bikes kind of took up so much space on the beach that made the crowd have to squeeze in even tighter. What was the e-bike situation down there this year?
The e-bikes didn't look too packed unless they put them somewhere else, but I'm starting to become really concerned about all the white privileged kids in Southern California with their e-bikes, because everybody knows, Jonathan Wayne Freeman from Kook of the Day.
Yeah.
And he was crossing the tracks going through the little brush area, and he was attacked by a mob of angry e-bike riding white privileged suburban kids from San Clemente because he made a comment about the lowers contest, and he was running for his life, bro. He was scratching. And these kids, man, with their blonde hair and their blue eyes, flying, going 40 miles an hour with the fat tires, they were like trying to take him out, and he had to like spit at those kids and claim that he had COVID-19 just to save his life. I don't, if you guys haven't seen it, it's a true story. It happened on Jonathan Wayne Freeman's Instagram. Check it out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys got to check that out. So basically Brazilians aren't responsible for this. You're saying it's a whole different demographic out there.
Yeah, no, these are like the kids that came from the parents that voted for Trump. They're like the white. Yeah. They're getting crazy.
Everybody. We try not to get too political on this this channel here, but man, I mean, you're hearing it live and direct. I mean, he was down on the beach. He saw the whole thing.
Yeah.
That is so funny, man. I'm trying to see if I can find some pictures. Today, man, I've been having the worst technical issues today, and they're all user errors. So you got to be thankful for that. So John Freeman went live with it. He almost got attacked. But I was trying to figure out a share here. I don't know why I'm having trouble today. Oh, here we go. Let's see. So before the comp, Inertia shared a Instagram post, article, what have you, about the e-bikes. And basically they started a war out there, because what the picture they showed was the Trestles finals. Now in their post, they didn't share the finals. They didn't name WSL as being responsible for this. It was kind of more of a general claim, or they're reporting very, very lightly. So can you see this here on the screen? I was going to call you Freeman. Stephen?
No, I need my reading glasses, but I can see it up there.
Oh, okay, cool. Here, let me see. Oh, look at it. I don't know if that's helping. Wow, yeah. Dude. Yeah, I'm getting way fancy here. I need to put our little pictures on the side though, man. I'm all off. But basically right here, Inertia's, just saying, there's an explosion of e-bikes, day-to-day business without breaking a sweat, blah, blah. And Tyler Warren, which I had seen before I saw this article, but he started a campaign online where everybody signs up and says, they're over the e-bikes, right? And so Tyler Warren is more of a groovy type surfer out there in the world. And so he got this popping. So everybody started claiming, signing that. And then people from this whole debate started going, chiming in. And you know how that goes online, Stephen. You're no stranger to internet drama, right?
Yeah, I'm okay with the e-bikes. I think I lived on right off Calafia on Avenida Lobiero on the loop right above, kind of just not too far from Cotton. So back in the day when I lived there, I was like 25 years ago, I would like walk down to State Park, take a left and walk right down the track. So I'd hike my butt all the way down there on my days off. And the convenience of having those e-bikes, like I could care less if they rode a skateboard, if they took those little shoes with little wheelies in them, or if they took
Heelys. Those are Heelys.
Heelys. To me, it doesn't matter how you get there. I could care less about that. It seems kind of like it's an overblown thing. Okay. But when those kids start attacking Jonathan Wayne Freeman like that, and trying to run him over, now that's out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those Groms are getting crazy.
Yeah, that's funny. I used to work, I had an opportunity to work down there for quite a while. Just right by Pedro's, there's a little gingerbread house on El Camino.
Oh yeah,
like this random house, and so a company I worked for actually owned it and let us, wanted to work there, and I couldn't believe it, man. Those were the best lunch breaks ever. So basically what happened is, so I'm kind of, it's weird. I'm kind of on both sides. Like I want one, right? But I'm older. I just kind of put my money into responsible things when I should sometimes, at least sometimes, so house, cars, things like that. But if I had, unlimited funds, I'd have an e-bike. I'd be down there. I'd be happy about it. But, at the same time, I used to run up and down that thing, bike, mostly walk and run, tell you the truth. Because on a skateboard, I'd probably fall down and break my teeth. Just trying to get down to Trestles. But when I saw the event last year at Lowers, I mean, it was pretty hideous, and so that was kind of definitely something that kind of impacted me. And so I jumped on board. I went for the hate campaign. Tyler Warren, he's probably like a free loving hippie kind of guy during the day, but he started this campaign, and so I got his back, dude. I went at it old school. But so when I did that, Kelly Slater chimed in and gave a response, and he can't, of course,
wait a minute, hold on a second. The goat, the greatest of all time, chimed in on your
I can't believe it
on that.
I can't believe it, dude. I
need to hear this.
I don't even know. Supposedly the goat has been, chiming in all over the place online. And I'm like, how does this guy have the time to like win titles, charge pipe,
and be the goat? Yeah.
And school fools online. I mean, he's got it all, dude. So he's been putting his neck out there. And so I'm going to try to share here what the goat had to say.
Oh my goodness. I need to see this.
Okay. So right here. So check this out. So the goat, he says, if you walked for 30 years and are 40 plus years old, you pass the test, you get to use them. And so I was like, yeah. And then and he's got the sunglasses and like the little emoji.
He's working the emoji emotion.
Oh, dude. So like, the kind of tone he's got, which is awesome. I didn't even know the goat knew how to make jokes and shit. But he's loose. Now he's like I said, he's the whole thing now. So I looked at that, I was cracking up because that's kind of how I feel. Like I want one, but I see these little Groms, 16 and under that shouldn't even be, driving anything that moves. So I kind of dug that, and I'm over 50 now. So I really feel like, okay, over 40, I even want to push the bar up a little bit, Slater. Over 50, let's cut out the 40-year-olds, right? And then Tyler Warren, let me see if I can zoom in a little more here. Tyler Warren, because we're old people, man. We got to get this font real big. Is that getting bigger for you there?
Yeah, that looks good.
Oh, look at that, people. These old guys are crushing it online. We blew up earlier. My whole webcast went down. I buckled, but we're back. So right here, Tyler Warren, he chimes in on the goat. It's just getting out of hand, twice as crowded on every average day. And I have to kind of say it's definitely more crowded. I don't know if that's the e-bike or just general population growth, but I think I kind of see the correlation a little bit. And due to how easy it is to get there, he says the beach looks like a parking lot. I got to back Tyler on that. When I went down there, I'm like, when you're sitting there and you're looking at, nature, I don't really want to see a bunch of, maybe they should have a parking lot up the trail or, like 20 feet back, right? Like, so people who are sitting on the beach don't have to share the beach or look at e-bikes. That's what I think. I'm 50, so that's how old people think. And then here's the other part. Here's the part where I know somebody died in Carlsbad, a mom. People have, gotten brain damage and things from Oceanside to San Clemente. So Groms going down, 20 miles an hour. So there's a little bit of so when I was a kid, man, Stephen, we couldn't even ride like a scooter. A scooter was illegal. I had to get on a scooter and just kind of, whoa.
So
whoa.
I had to ride public transportation like everybody else with the little buses and the trams, right? But on a positive note, I got this free hand towel printed and they asked me, who are you supporting today? Because it was I don't know if you noticed, but all the colored jerseys were kind of unique, right?
Right.
So the blue, if you were blue, it was for the ocean. If you were orange, I don't know, it was for like the pigeon poop or whatever, like each thing tied in to the earth. And so I said, I'm rooting for Kanoa because even though he claims Japan, he was born in California and he's Huntington Beach kid. So I was claiming him.
Bro, dang.
Right. And then I was claiming Filipe because Filipe lives, in San Clemente and he surfs South Jetty quite often. He shows up with his homies. But we got these little towels and we were doing like this thing, like on the bus, we're acting like it's the terrible towel and we're at like the Pittsburgh Steelers stadium. It was like a rocking, it was pretty cool though. I got to tell you, it really was.
So I was going to ask that. So in all the previous years, two things which were like, to me, the most exciting part of the whole situation. So where all the Groms either get dropped off in those Mercedes Mercedes vans, or the e-bikes drive up and then drop in to get down to the beach. Back in the day, at least up to the last time I went, you'd pay like $20. You had to have cash. You could go in there and you could literally like park. I would be like, they pushed you out little by little over a year on parking, but for a lot of years, you could be parked like right next to,
Filipe Toledo's like, anybody. You see his Filipe Toledo, it would say Toledo on his license plate.
Right.
You'd be next to his electric Jeep or whatever he's been driving. And you could be cool and like park there. And now as soon as I rolled up, they looked at me and they're like, bro, you're a kook. You need to go like down. You need to turn around and drive like you're going back home to Oceanside. I felt like I was halfway to Oceanside by the time I got to the Big Boobs Stadium. Like I was like, bro, I could walk home from here. You made me go so far. I'm almost at the South Jetty.
They have an overflow parking lot over by the train tracks, right? Okay, see, so I was amazed that they were letting that happen. So like you said, not only that, but basically you would walk to the little bus stop right there on that cement, driveway. And then you'd be waiting in line for the next shuttle with the pros. And so you'd be on with Filipe Toledo and they would take you down the romantic trail. I don't know if they still do that, down to church and then bring you back.
At least I got to sit next to pretty girls. On the bus thing there, it's like, it was quite a scenic adventure. But yeah, you're treated just like a pilgrim.
Okay. But they still shuttle you down there though.
They still do.
Okay. So there you go, everybody. You can still park. Did you have to pay for that overflow parking or was that free?
No, it's just like you would normally pay. It was like $20 or whatever, $15.
Well, with the trip. So normally though, if you have a state pass, annual pass, which I do, Stephen, that's where I like to surf up there all the time, man. I leave you at the harbor. I'm out.
That's all you needed was the state pass. You were fine.
So before they didn't accept that. They would still make you pay $20 like everybody on top of which I did happily because the shuttle ride's awesome. But so I'm going to share some more of what the goat said. All right, so let me cue that up. Okay, so, oh wait, let me see here. Let me go, boom. No, let me see. That's not the one. Man, now I'm having technical difficulties again. Here we go. Back. Close that guy out. Hold on a sec. We're almost there. Okay. Let me see. So it takes so many clicks, everybody. You got to bear with me. You got to bear with me. We're setting it up though. Okay. So then I chimed in, man. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I said, maybe if you're disabled or over 50, I tried to raise the stakes. And I said, but I was honest. I said, I'm over 50 now. So of course I'm putting myself into the acceptable group of e-bikes, right? Because I still want one. And then I kind of threw a shot. I threw a pop. You see how this year they went MMA style. Well, I took a first shot at WSL. I was like, yo, man, you guys are pawing that's whack. I said, how they have that parking lot there. And then what going back to what you were saying, Stephen, is about then all the fans are piled into a small area sweating. We were sweating bullets because in previous years, the crowd could kind of like the body heat from the crowd raises the temp, right? So I could definitely feel that. So I asked them to please greenwash this whole scenario. I don't know if they'll listen to me because I'm not the most influential over there at WSL. So then, of course, the GOAT, dude, I'm going to share his stuff right here. He actually responded to that. So let's see if we can get the GOAT online right here. All right. So the GOAT, man. He said, the finals bike situation is wildly out of hand. So he kind of fessed up to a little bit. He said, but it happens 2 days a year, right? So the GOAT kind of, he's bringing balance to, the drama. And so that's kind of true. I mean, like you said, like there's on a normal day, it's not always necessarily out of hand. That last event prior to this year was out of hand. This year probably wasn't out of hand because they just called it on the first day. The storm was coming. So I think the crowd on the beach was probably a little smaller. He said the majority of the people want it. Okay, so now Slater's actually given some Democratic kind of input there, and I was kind of like, okay, maybe they do. We haven't really sampled that demographic, but I'd be curious. He says I walked from Trestles from '84, which was probably after I started surfing there. But till a couple of years ago, he said, I can tell you the experience is way better now instead of hiking it once a day. I can change boards at home and back under 20 minutes and grab some food. Dang, so now he's selling it. Because now I wasn't even thinking like that. So if you live there or you rent there or you work there, these are the things you can do. I don't know if Stephen, I don't know if you can go from Lowers on an e-bike to your house in Oceanside that in 20 minutes, but he's appealing to the locals there. Even though the locals don't run, this is a state park. But granted, we got to hear the locals. So he says, I still get waves, and honestly, it's the same number of people in the water when I was pretty young. That part, I'm not, again, I don't know if I could say the increased crowd is due to the e-bikes or not, but I could say that there was a lot of days where I could go to Trestles way back in the day in the 80s and even early 90s, and there wouldn't be a lot of people there. But anyways, he's the GOAT, man. What else am I going to say about that?
One of the things that I saw that was like almost comedy, and I was kind of really disappointed. I don't think it was the e-bikes. It was the way it was so crowded. And then when Filipe Toledo, because he was the top seed when he arrived,
right,
he did the whole little Jeep thing, and his whole family was in the little Jeep.
Okay.
And literally, it reminded me of like a boxer going in the ring when like they have that, like they're running in and they're doing all this and they're like, throwing their clothes around and looking really cool, and everybody's like waving at them, And Filipe only had to walk like 50 yards to get to the fucking contest. But
Right.
instead, he had to sit his butt in that little Jeep with his family, looking really cool. And everybody, it was so packed, like literally, they drove in inch by inch because they would have run somebody's foot over. But instead of him getting his butt out of the Jeep and going like, "Hey, let me grab my surfer and go surf a contest," he
Right.
had to look all cool. And literally, it was like it took him I don't know how long just to travel the smallest distance. And it was
He
to
drove. He
me,
drove. He drove the Jeep.
no, he had his whole entourage in the Jeep.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Right.
So he's got like bodyguards and his family's in there, but they can barely move because there's no room to move there. We were packed
Oh.
like
Right.
sardines, and
Right.
it's
Right.
like we've got hurricane heat. We're all sweating bullets, and now we have to like literally. They were looking to make sure they didn't run over people's toes. It was
Right.
stupid.
So, but I mean, you're saying he got to come down the trail in his Jeep?
Yeah. So you know how they've always done that in years past, but it was so packed this year you couldn't even like you could barely drive a Jeep through there.
Well, what they used
So
to have was those little, like, they're kind of like burly golf carts.
that's what they are. They're like a little
Okay.
the same thing.
Okay.
But
Right. 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 So then everybody's getting pinched by him, right?
dude, like they were almost running people over. It was so stupid. And you can get out of your Jeep and walk like 50 yards, dude.
On the
Come on.
shore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. That's crazy, man. Yeah. I definitely want to see surfing, keep evolving. It's kind of cool to see all this stuff happening. At the same time, I'm sure they got a lot of rules they have to work in between, but yeah, they got to sort it out a little bit better. I think it looked like it was a little more well put together in the prior year that they ran it. But so I was just stoked. The goat actually talked to me online. Steven, what's up, dude? Has the goat ever talked to you online?
No, in fact, I've never really chatted with the guy. So yeah, no.
Okay, right on. Well, see now finally, man, because it's hard. It's hard to get the goat to move on you.
I gotta tell you though, the waves were freaking amazing on when the
Okay.
set waves came. They were literally just like perfect A-frame, little 6 foot. I mean, it was just gorgeous. So calling it on the day that they did, I know some of the non-set waves were smaller, and you're watching on TV. And right around 11 a.m. when the wind turned on us, because we had that like really weird hurricane offshore. As soon
Mhm.
as it turned to get kind of funky, but it was like some of the early sets, the waves are freaking beautiful. It was just gorgeous. So that was cool. But yeah, man, I don't know about this whole one day at the end of the year after 10 events, making you the champ or not. I don't think I'm down with that.
Yeah, that's I think I think they're on the right track. I mean, well, so like yeah, like I mean in football or baseball. Well, baseball has kind of that I think they try to integrate it a little bit, right? They did a 2 out of 3 or like this out of this. But typically I think when other sports do it, they break those days up onto different days. They don't play like 3 baseball games in one day,
Dude,
right?
my hat's off to Stephanie Gilmore. Did she had to surf? I don't know, was it 5 or 6 heats?
Ichilo as well.
Yeah, and they were like absolutely, absolutely gassed and just killing it. And then the top seed only had to go, 2 rounds. It was like they can kind of lay around in bed all day and then come out. But
Yeah.
my hat's off to Italo. The way he was busting those airs was just crazy. And I think in terms of style of surfing as well,
Right.
lowers, of course, is, the crowd would go nutty when you would do an air landed, flip your board around, reverse. And then we were watching amazing surfers like Jack Robinson or Ethan Illing trying to do like big carves, and the carves kind of weren't the way the waves were. They're not,
Right.
garnering as much attention as you would if you were on a big 10-foot gnarly double up
Right.
wave.
Right.
So it really kind of, tailored to that style of surfing. The flicky lightest surfer is going to win.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree there. Ichilo, unlike Stephanie, he went the whole route and then, crapped out the end. But what I noticed in that final Ichilo and Filipe is the crowd was really, really quiet for Ichilo, and they were really, really loud for Filipe. Is that what you saw, or you didn't stay that late?
I just saw the beginning of it, and then I was just freaking heat stroke city. But with Filipe living in San Clemente now for the last 9 years, I can see that.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, they both seem like cool guys. Filipe definitely seems super chill. I've seen him on the beach competing and stuff, and he always seems to have a really, really cool vibe. Well, right on, man. So that's all your news on WSL finals, everybody. I hope you've been down there. If you have, comment below. Let us know what you think or how you felt about the finals, especially if you were on the beach. We definitely want to hear about that. I've definitely been doing a little bit more club contest stuff, Stephen, which is, I guess, probably more on the longboards side of it. It's kind of funny, like, they got the Board Riders Club in Oceanside, and then there's the Oceanside Longboard Club as well. And those are kind of a trip because it's a whole different vibe, right? Like, yeah, see that? There we go, representing right now. So you're still hanging with the young bucks, Stephen. I'm trying to I'm trying to rub up on the longboard crew because I'm getting up there. Yeah. I
think especially that tradition started, I'm going to say, for us in Windansea Surf Club is one of the first. And then in Australia it was huge, and I think it's great camaraderie. I'm not even good enough to be the backup in my age division, so it's really stacked. There's a lot of amazing surfers at all ages, at all levels, but I try and like me, I just try and be the biggest supporter of surfing. It's something I absolutely love. And especially being part of the clubs and just being there to support is awesome.
Yeah, I've had some other guests on the show that are part of board rider clubs on the East Coast and other places, which is awesome. And like you said, it's kind of, it's a trip. I don't know about the board rider club, but definitely on the longboard side of it, when they have these local events, I mean, first of all, the people, the elders of the clubs, I mean, they got to go over there and get permits settled, which is not an easy task. They got to coordinate people to go lift gear and put it on the beach. Unlike WSL, they just pay like a subcontractor. There's some money handed over and they go handle it. You're trying to get surfers to go show up on time, and go put up some stuff instead of surfing. So pretty cool when they get all that set up. But one thing that's super unique is that with the longboard club anyways, you can have a top level pro in the same heat as, some local ripper. And that is super exciting to see. I mean, because you're like, I think, with WSL stuff, you see like maybe one guy, that somehow gets the wild card or kind of works his way through the local trials. And then, he does his best and it's his spot or whatever. But so, yeah, I definitely dig watching local guys. Just recently was Mike Stidham, and he was battling some of these other pros out there. And I think Stidham could have whooped that ass. I just think he kind of, try to let him get the limelight because Stidham's cool like that.
Yeah, Stidham is the coolest guy in the water. I remember years ago him telling me, hey, just take whatever wave you want. And I'm just an average kook. And he did that for me. Yeah, maybe it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think he was doing that in the contest. I saw him back at the so if you haven't seen, everybody, there was a recent contest in Oceanside at the pier called the King and Queen of the Pier. Sick title. And so if you go check on in the library, Epic Surf News, you will definitely see some footage. I got, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos.
Yeah, little Reed and Jack were killing it. They surf South Jetty all the time. I think they live in Carlsbad, but they're in surfing Oceanside all the time, and they absolutely killed it. Yeah, it's great seeing all these Groms that you watch practice over the years, and now they become amazing surfers.
It's a trip too, is you kind of hit on something there is, let's say you're from Riverside, or let's say you're from Minnesota. You can actually become a member of a lot of these clubs and not live there, at least in the longboard scene. Oceanside Longboard Club has people from New York, and they have people from all over the world that are part of the club. So what's kind of cool is, the dues is pretty cheap. You pay online. If you're in town, you can go to a meeting, or maybe, network with some of the local guys, and maybe they'll take you out for a paddle and block for you a little bit. I don't know. So yeah, so if you're looking to support clubs, if you're from a different area, maybe a lot of people don't have a club in their area. So if you're don't have a club in your area, I think you should support clubs in Oceanside. Since I'm here, I'm going to tell you that.
There you go.
Yeah. So you're part of the board riders.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to be there to support. I'm like, I'm the, it's just, there's so many guys that you surf with in the water for years. And, when it comes right down to it, you think about like even different age divisions, like 50 and over, like there's at least a dozen guys in Oceanside that rip over me. And, they don't really do contests. The only time they do it is in the club events, and they just do it for fun. And you see guys out there just absolutely tearing it up.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Man, so we hit on a lot there, everybody. I have a couple other things I want to hit on, but I mean, we'll be here all day if I keep talking. Definitely going to talk about crowded lineup rotation at some point in the future, and another stab at the leash, no leash stuff out there. So I'll probably come back to you guys, give you more information, or at least talk some shit on that. As I decide to back out of this live meeting, everybody, thank you. If you tuned in during the first mishap, thank you so much for making your way back. I definitely kook it in the water and online. So there's a few other Epic Surf News episodes that are online available from recent months, including one with Mitch and Liam, some local rippers from North County, San Diego as well. You got to check that out. I've got some collab edits with Ghetto Zoom from the other side of town, coming from doing a lot of footage out of Sano. So check those out. He shot the footage. I jumped in on the edit and the music and kind of produced the whole thing. Some of those clips that probably get tossed out, I put them together and made it happen. Wave pool, I got information on the wave pool coming. I don't know when it's going to come, man. They're still pushing dirt around in Oceanside, but I got, information about it, the future is bright. And Stephen, Freeman, John Wayne Freeman, Kook of the Day, he's trying to be a local up there, dog. And I'm not sure, I think I'm going to be like if you're going to have a pyramid of locals, I'll probably be like number one. You'll be number two. I mean, how is this going to work? There's all these people, they're fiending for this thing that doesn't even exist yet.
Yeah, I'm going to be like Scott Cherry at Wind and Sea and the guys that are running the peak and kicking all the locals out. I'm going to be the heavy. Yeah. And then you're going to be like the diplomat that make sure that, the finances are flowing through Oceanside. And then Jonathan Wayne Freeman is going to be the entertainer. So we've got this figured out. It's going to be a great time.
Bring it together.
And I just say, give a drum roll, please. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, Freeman. John Wayne Freeman. We're going to be in the house. Last episode I talked about, I've been getting rid of some surfboards. I used 2 local services to get rid of at least 2 of the 3. I'm still waiting for the 3rd board to go. I don't know if you know, Stephen, but I'm getting rid of all my short boards.
Wow.
I shouldn't say all of them. I just pick one up, but I'm trying to change my quiver. You can see all these, look at those bags. Those things are huge surfboards. So I used Progression Surf out of Leucadia. They definitely sold one of my boards on consignment.
Great place to pick up used boards. I've sold and bought many there.
Awesome. So Progression
Super good people.
Yeah, they made it super easy, man. I just went in there, took 2 seconds, gave them my board. Look at this. You picked that up from you got that direct.
Yeah. So Whitlock Surf as well, people. I want to give a shout out to Corey Whitlock and Rusty Whitlock of Oceanside. They did this special with Tom Waite. I did a special, one of my favorite musical artists. I'm trying to blend my surfing and music together in life.
Oh, I almost thought that was a twin fin, but that's a thruster, man. So I'm getting rid of boards, but Stephen is doubling down, shortboard for life. I mean, Stephen, have you been dabbling, or are you still fucking hitting it?
I don't dabble until I can't paddle.
Oh, dang. Okay. See, there you go, man. So I can't even have the no leash conversation with him because we already know what side he sits on. But so yeah, Progression Surf, really great job. I still have one board over there, everybody. It's a little 5'4" round nose quad. Go down there and buy that thing. It's super cheap. It has a little bubble on the nose, but dude, you'll still bust airs and stick those things, no problem. So go buy that thing. I think they want $150 for it. Go pick up my board, dude. It's over there. It's a green little board. The other company that picked up my other board was the Board Source in Carlsbad off Palomar. Have you been there?
I haven't been there. I know the surfboard brokers are a really good one. There's several ones that are super good, and there's some cool guys that are running those.
Dude, surfboard broker guys are mad at me because I dissed their prices one time and they were mad at me. So there you go.
Gotcha.
But they're good. I think everybody uses them. But Board Source, that's they bought my board, even my old board bags. They bought those off me. I'm just wrapping this up, everybody. 2 more quick things. Surf for the Sea event was postponed. Those guys, due to weather, I think that was supposed to be this weekend at the North Jetty, which is a little down the way from where Steven's at. And I got the surf
nice
shirt.
Beautiful.
That'll remind me of when I got smoked in the last event that I participated in at Surf for the Sea. They smoked me over there, but I gave it my all. The waves were really shitty, but I got smoked.
Quick shout out to Carolyn Benura, who puts on all those events. She does the Scholastic Series, WSA. Really, there are certain people in the surfing world that put a lot out there to put people in jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
They're out there at 6:30 in the morning, setting up tents, checking you in, wringing out, untying and tying little knots into the jerseys of kids. And they put a lot into it, and she's one of them. So big shout out to her for all her efforts.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to echo that. And that's very similar to like how these club contests work, right? Like it's very community oriented. I think the longboard club that I'm part of, they actually have donated money to some of her causes to raise money for events. And so all these little groups kind of help each other get it going. But definitely Caroline, she's like a one woman army, right? I mean, she's like the Khaleesi of surfing out there in Oceanside. Last thing before I give Stephen a chance to throw out any more shout outs, because he already got Whitlock. Yo, shout out to Whitlock, hooking it up, South Jetty, surf lessons. Supergirl Pro coming up. They just put out a post saying that they had the Offspring lined up to play live on Sunday. If you don't know, if you haven't been to Supergirl Pro out there, everybody in Oceanside, we're always trying to put on amazing events. All the women, before they had a lot of representation or equal representation, they had this particular event in Oceanside where it's all women and they just crush it. And the fan base is, I mean, I'd say almost better than WSL at the finals. I mean, the fan base is like people really into what they're watching. So any event, they had trouble over the last couple of years keeping things going with all the pandemic stuff. They were super excited to say Offspring was going to come play. Apparently there were some complications with the city of Oceanside. They didn't really go into it too much, but if you, anybody's out there on the street, you find out, let me know what happened. I don't know. Maybe the city of Oceanside wanted to get greased, or maybe they had too many, restrictions for a high profile band or something. I'm not really sure what it was.
I saw the Offspring posted something on Instagram today about how they weren't able to play because apparently the Offspring brings a crowd that likes to start fights or trouble is from what I've heard. It was the reason behind it, which is silly because they're kind of just they're a great band, but they're just kind of like your skate pop punk stuff. They're not even like, to me, it's not even real punk rock.
Well, exactly. I'd echo that, but I'd also say if you had your heart set on getting this kind of action that he's talking about, go check out Suede Denim Secret Police.
There you go.
They bring all the rabble rousers out. Everybody's freaking acting up, dude.
Bad Religion, Agent Orange, we got it all, people.
Dude, you will be, dude. They'll put Offspring lyrics, to the test, dude. Because and the crowd, you'll have these like 49 to like 65-year-old punk rockers there. they'll just be crushing you. Well, they'll sit on the outside and hope some teenagers jump in there for them.
Well, just so you know, Smirk is our animal spirit. So Smirk is what we are all about, is just being a smirk.
Yeah. That's like your number one fan too, Dave. I think Dave's your number one fan out there.
Exactly.
So yeah, thanks a lot everybody for joining in, man. We kind of went around the world there with surfing. Amazon, I'm not going to put a bunch of time into it, but if you hit the link below, go to Amazon, buy whatever you want to buy. You could buy a leash. I mean, even if you don't use leashes, man, buy a leash on there. I don't know. Buy that. Oh, actually, there's like that motorized fin Stephen's been talking about. That thing looks sick, dude. I would love to snake fools with that thing. Buy that, right? Stephen, you want to get any more shout outs before we conclude this episode?
I think some of the biggest shout outs just come from what I see building and surfing, is all these parents in their Sprinter vans that take all the time and put their kids out there and let them cruise around on their e-bikes. But it actually takes a lot of work for these parents to support them. So here's to the parents out there making it happen.
Yeah, well, I love you and I hate you. Well, just respect the old people. So check this out. Actually, on that note, last note, everybody, I surf at a Point Break. There's some a surf coach with some Groms. He comes with the Groms. They keep it low key. We've kind of worked it out, and they give all the aunties and uncles waves. They'll let them go. They recognize, and that works really well. And then everybody watches the Groms surf better than we can surf. We give them their waves. So if you're a surf coach, if you're a surf Grom, you're out there, you rip. We know if you're 10 years old, you rip better than myself or Stephen, without no doubt. But, try to give the old people, even if you think they're total kooks, back in the day, they might've been rippers too. So, we really appreciate that from the old guys, but definitely moms and dads and Groms, man, the whole community thing is super awesome. So thanks again, everybody. Thanks for joining for this board meeting, Epic Surf News. Hit the subscribe, go check us out Instagram. And thank you, Stephen, for showing up today. And I hope you get some waves.